How's it going, Commanders? So, for today's video, we will be discussing some incredible hero loadouts for this new season of Ventures. This season is Frozen Fjords, which comes with its own Storm Zone modifiers. Unlike other Venture seasons, these modifiers are unique to each hero type. The Soldier, Constructor, Outlander, and Ninjas. They have their own pros and cons during this Venture season, so let's go through a small rundown as to what will affect who. Soldiers have the modifier Super Soldier. The pro are headshot damage gets a double bonus, ranged weapon eliminations reduce active cooldowns by 4 seconds, and frag grenades get an extra grenade every 6 elimination with a ranged weapon. The cons, reduced melee weapon damage and trap damage. So your main focus should be on hero loadouts that buff your abilities and ranged weapons, which I would highly recommend assault rifles or shotguns. Super Constructors is another modifier. The pros for this are building costs are reduced by 66%, meaning you can build almost to your leisure without worrying about running out of materials. Melee impact damage dealt is increased, and triggering kinetic overload reduces active cooldowns by 4 seconds. The cons for this modifier is reduced weapon damage. I think what they meant by this is reduced ranged weapon damage, since in the paragraph it says melee impact damage is increased, so constructors focused on building and trapping. Super Ninja is a modifier with the pros being ability eliminations increase melee damage and attack speed by 50% for 10 seconds. Great for any melee builds. Melee weapon eliminations reduce active cooldowns by 2 seconds, and Shadow Stance benefits are double, which is good because there's a Shadow Stance hero that would be perfect for this. The cons, ranged weapons and trap damage is reduced, which again makes sense since ninjas are melee weapon heroes. And lastly is the Super Outlander modifier. Anti-material charge costs 0 energy, so all you Outlander farm to your heart's content. You also gain a fragment every 50 seconds, meaning the shorter cooldown and energy cost for your ability, and a passive 30% buff to active abilities. Cons are, again, reduced weapon and trap damage, so put all your focus on your ability damage, no range or melee. Seeing as how each modifiers are unique to these specific heroes, that means we will need to build a hero loadout around these modifiers. No weapon loadouts though, since in Ventures, we get random weapons through animals, looting, and these little vending machines. Each weapon is a luck of the draw when it comes to Ventures, so it's best to make a sort of jack-of-all-trade hero build that works with any and all weapons, or that focuses on the hero's ability in hand. I'll be making these videos into 4 parts, each one focusing on a specific hero class, so that you all can pick what kind of hero you would like to put your main focus on. Let's start with the Soldier first. Almost every soldier has a useful ability, from the war cry to the grenades down to the lefty and righty, but nothing comes close to the minigun. We'll focus on going commando ability for this Ventures seasons, and for this we will use Commando Spitfire. He comes with the commander perk Going Again, which decreases the Going Commando cooldown by 66%. By himself, this would drop the cooldown of your Going Commando down to 34 seconds. But we'll be using the Happy Holidays, which reduces your cooldown by another 40%. This will drop the cooldown from 34 seconds to a simple 20 seconds while you're unleashing that beautiful swarm of bullets. That leaves you about 5 seconds left till your minigun is back and ready to fire. But not really, because thankfully, with the modifier we have this season, all you need to do is eliminate 1 husk with any ranged weapon, and your minigun is back immediately. This is an endless minigun build, but you'll want to buff the damage to it. That's where your support team comes in. Willow gives us Ghoulish Cackle, which increases our ability damage up to 37.5% based on the percentage of our missing health. So the key is to be in low health, which is fine as long as you got something to heal you a little bit afterwards. Ted has First Cup of the Day, where the crit rating of Going Commando is increased by 10 points and damage by 100%. Huge bang for your buck when using him, since this means your first few seconds should be focused on the bigger threats like mist monsters or mini bosses. Speaking of mist monsters, Swamp Knight gives us Unearthly Treat, where it increases our damage versus mist monsters by up to 42% based on the percentage of our misting health. Again, just like Willow, the lower our health, the more damage we do. And this one focuses on the biggest threats, mist monsters. Sadly, it doesn't work with all mini-bosses, since some mini-bosses are just normal husks. Sergeant Jonesy is next with Ain't Done Yet. This increases our duration of our minigun for another 5 seconds, which is great because if we didn't have this, our cooldown from our Going Commando ability would be 10 instead of 5, which we would need to kill 2 to 3 husks back to back before getting our minigun again. Not that hard, but we want to get it back quickly so we can mow down the husks. And lastly, we got Diecast Jonesy with Boomstick. This just buffs our damage of our Going Commando ability by another 25%. All in all, a simple addition. An extra 25% is nothing to scoff at. But if cooldown is something you're not worried about and want to focus on just damage, then we change Happy Holidays with Totally Rocking Out. This does return our cooldown from 20 back to 34, and our duration lasts for only 15 seconds, meaning by the time our Going Commando ability is done, we still have around 19 seconds left to spare. Still, you can eliminate 5 husks to reduce that cooldown and bring back your minigun if that's what you want. I still suggest we keep Commando Spitfire as the commander for that reduced 66 cooldown, but with Totally Rocking Out, this will increase our crit rating by 160 and will heal us at the same time. So, unlike the unlimited minigun build, this will at least keep us alive longer. For our support, we have Breakbeat Wildcat with her perk, Battle Beat. Eliminating 10 enemies in 9 seconds grants Rocking Rift, which increases damage by 50%. Great boost, and you'll eliminate 10 husks in no time. Still, we want to activate our Rocking Rift perk as soon as we can, so you have 2 choices. Varsity Hero is one with Fumble, where eliminating enemies has a 7% chance to fumble a football, and walking over those footballs grants Rocking Rift. Or you can switch him out with Mainstage Quinn, who has Sub Wafers. Harvesting metal objects has a 32% chance to give Sub Wafers, and eating a wafer grants Rocking Rift. You can pop a wafer before releasing that wave of bullets from your minigun, or you can just fire and hope that a husk drops a football. I prefer the wafer, since you can just farm for metal pretty easily in some areas, plus eating a wafer does heal you too. We also have the same support heroes as before, Sergeant Jonesy, which gives us an extra 5 seconds duration. If we didn't have him, we'd have to wait another 25 seconds, and you'd need to eliminate 6 husks to get your minigun back. Ted with First Cup of the Day, and Diecast Jonesy with increased damage. All in all, it's the same build, just a little bit of a tweaking. If miniguns aren't your style and you want something with a bit more boom, I would highly suggest a lefty and righty build. Mind you though, this thing has an insanely long cooldown. This build is going to reduce that cooldown by a large margin, but it can only do so much. First off, with our commander, we are using Raven, and this guy is such a powerhouse. His commander perk is Bang and Pow, which increases your lefty and righty damage by 25%. Not only that, it explodes! Every shot does 20 base explosive energy damage and a 0.5 tile radius, meaning every husk you hit can also do insane amount of damage to any husks that are nearby it, which is insane. We still want that cooldown though, so Happy Holidays is the way to run it. It gives us that 66% reduced cooldown, so we'll drop the cooldown from 100 seconds down to 60. We can do better though. Noir is a good extender, giving us an extra second of lefty and righty with every elimination we get, up to 10 eliminations. That's an extra 10 seconds. Normally our lefty and righty lasts around 10 seconds, so getting an additional 10 mean that we will be shooting our explosive bullets for 20 seconds. Simple math. That means we still have 40 seconds left till our lefty and righty comes back. Still, with the modifier available, we only need 10 eliminations to get our lefty and righty back instantly. So, my suggestion is to carry a rocket launcher or a shotgun. Anything that does a big boom will pop that lefty and righty back up. We want to max out our damage though, so a Rock and Rift hero is definitely useful. Though many would pop a wafer with main stage Quinn or fumble with varsity hero, you do need a harvest medal with Quinn, and you only have a 7% chance to fumble a football with varsity hero. You need a sure way to get Rock and Rift. So, the best hero to use is Breakbeat Wildcat, who comes with Battle Beat. Eliminating 10 enemies within 9 seconds grants Rock and Rift, and with this build, 10 enemies in 9 seconds is a cakewalk. But we are a soldier, we have other abilities, and one of those abilities is Warcry. This buffs your damage, attack speed, and movement speed by 40%. This means your lefty and righty will fire faster, you'll move faster, and deal higher damage on top of all the buffs we have. So, for this, we want to extend the duration of our Warcry so we can keep that damage buff as long as possible. In comes Ghoul Trooper Ramirez. She has practiced in combat, which increases Warcry duration for another 3 seconds, and to extend it even further, we got Steel Wool Carlos with base solo. Every elimination during Warcry extends the duration by 0.4 seconds to a max of 15 eliminations. That is an extra 6 seconds, combined with Ghoul Trooper is 9 seconds in total of a damage buff. The last one is a Joker card of sorts. You can pick whoever you want, really. There aren't a lot of heroes that can buff a lefty and righty build, but one that can help with keeping smashers in check is Dashing Hawk. A kind of joke soldier, he comes with absolutely stunning. Lefty and righty shots have a 37.5% chance to stun the targets for 2 seconds, which, if the circumstances are right, you can auto-lock a mini-boss for the whole duration of your lefty and righty while your team just dogpiles on it, chipping away at its health. But like I said, you can switch this hero out with whoever you want. You can up your weapon damage with, let's say, Shrapnel Headhunter for shotgun damage, Rabbit Raider Jonesy if you have a bow and arrow you like, or if you want extra sprint, you can use the Eternal Wanderer just to get out of a sticky situation. But again, if you don't care about the cooldown, you can switch Happy Holidays with Totally Rocking Out. Again, this will up the cooldown from 60 seconds to 100, which is a huge wait time, but you can eliminate 25 husks with a shotgun or rocket launcher, and your lefty and righty will be right back. You'll need 2 rad heroes though to activate Totally Rocking Out, so I suggest keeping Breakbeat Wildcat with Battle Beat and switching out that Joker character with Main Stage Quinn. You will need to farm metal for those wafers, but this means you can pop a Warcry, eat a wafer, and then unleash Calamity onto the Husk Swarm, keeping your Rocking Rift consistent for the duration of your lefty and righty. And once it ends and you have that 100 seconds left till your ability comes back, just pop another wafer, pull out a rocket launcher, and eliminate as many husks as possible to get it back. This to me is a better build than the shorter cooldown Raven build, not only because it does a lot of damage, but you do heal yourself with every 10 eliminations, so you can be in the middle of a swarm of husks, being mauled in every direction, and all you need to do is just shoot anywhere, and you're healed. One of the better hero builds for this season. And that is my hero loadout recommendation for soldiers. Next week, I'll be talking about Constructors, so be ready for that. With this season, I think that new hero Hotwire is going to be a monster to use, especially since his Chain Lightning does extra damage to water husks. But other than that, if you commanders like my content, why not leave a like? And if you guys want to get more updates regarding the game, why not drop a follow? Until then, as always, stay safe and game on!